Hello and welcome back. I have some big breaking news this morning. Tenet from Warner Brothers has been delayed indefinitely. It is no longer releasing in August of 2020, and it does not yet have a new release date. So I'm going to be going over some of the reasons for that. Some are more obvious than others, as well as some of the repercussions and what the possible plans are for Tenet moving forward. So the headline of the Deadline article is Tenet undated for now. Warner Brothers to introduce new date imminently. Picks theatrical global rollout won't be traditional. So in this Deadline article, they talk about how other markets, especially Asian markets, are already reopened, unlike in the United States, and that it's likely Tenet will release overseas before it releases in the United States. That is not what they had originally intended. They were originally planning on a day and date release, which means it would have released in all markets on the same day in August. But now it's looking like, and they haven't announced dates. They're saying maybe September, but that it would release in South Korea, Japan, and maybe China. There's a caveat to that I'll touch on in just a second. First, and then possibly start to roll out in whatever theaters are open in the United States slowly. As it talks about, the release window will not be traditional. From the beginning, their plan has been to drop this movie and for it to stay in theaters for a long time, which is sort of the opposite of the traditional blockbuster model, which would be make as much money as you can on the opening weekend, and whatever word of mouth generates in the weeks to follow, or people coming for repeat visits, is great, but that first weekend is really important. The opposite would be true with Tenet, as it would be a slow rollout and people would find their way to this movie over time. They did say that they don't want to shorten the theatrical window and drop it on VOD or HBO Max too close to the theatrical release. They are still staying committed to a full theatrical experience for this movie. Before this announcement, Christopher Nolan had been apparently dead set on releasing this movie in August. It's become obvious that that is not any sort of realistic possibility, especially in the United States, as theaters are likely not going to reopen in major markets like California and New York for months at least. So that's sort of the big news. The other interesting bit of information that I haven't seen too many places, but I did see reported just somewhere on Instagram, but it's an interesting tidbit, is that Tenet is too long to be played in China. China is limiting run times of their movies shown in theaters to 2 hours, and Tenet is about 2.5 hours long, if I'm remembering correctly. I imagine that's a temporary restriction for coronavirus, to not keep people in theaters for too long. I don't know for sure. Again, that wasn't reported in Deadline, and I don't know if that was their reason for delaying this movie in any way, seeing as they're not planning on a day-and-date release anymore. But it is interesting because they chose to delay it once it was obvious that it wouldn't be able to play in China in its current state. I don't know when China will lift that restriction, but it's possible that the movie could come out in Korea and Japan, and then China when China loosens its restrictions, and in whatever theaters are open in the United States. AMC theaters, Cinemark theaters, are opened in a limited capacity in certain areas, not in California where I live, not in New York. I don't even know where, but I follow Cinemark on Instagram, and they're open in some markets, but not near me. The bottom line is this movie cost more than $200 million to make. After marketing, that's going to be significantly more. A Christopher Nolan movie is no small investment on Warner Brothers' part, but Christopher Nolan movies are consistent money earners for that studio. And I was wondering what they were going to do, because you want to keep Christopher Nolan happy so that he keeps producing his movies with Warner Brothers. But there just wasn't any other option. I, in spite of any other factors, the fact that theaters aren't open, I just can't imagine in good conscience releasing this movie at this point in time. So, I don't know. The fact is that in a normal market, this movie would have easily made its a return on its investment for Warner Brothers, but now it's a risk, which Christopher Nolan movies hadn't been in the past. So, if you stick around on the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I will have updates on this story as it evolves with new release dates, and updates from Disney's response with Mulan. Who knows? They're gonna have to delay it, but we'll see if they push it to 2021 or if they just... At this point, I think it would be smart for a studio like Warner Brothers or Disney to say, all of our 2020 movies will be coming in 2021. There just aren't enough months left in 2020 to make a 2020 release viable, especially given the state of the world. And I just think it would be, well, not the state of the world, the state of the United States. And I just think it would be smart to hold off instead of delaying by a couple weeks at a time. With all that being said, stick around on the channel. I will update you on any other movies being delayed, as well as the status of Tenet. Thank you for checking out this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.